So holy shit, it was really good.
Weird, right?
Yeah, because I don't know about you, I don't like the original TV miniseries.
I mean, you're wrong. So there's that.
I mean, okay, take out every scene with Tim Curry. Tell me how good that movie would be.
But Rose Red.
Oh, I don't know what Rose Red is. Shit. Okay. But yeah, no, I didn't like the TV movie miniseries thing. I thought it was boring and dumb for the most part. I mean, I also saw it as an adult. So apparently it's one of those... Apparently it's like the Goonies. You're supposed to watch this shit as a kid, and if you don't watch it as a kid, it doesn't have the same effect.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, you watch that thing as a kid, and Tim Curry becomes your nightmares.
Yeah, no. And... Like Tim Curry was good in that movie. It's just, and I mean, it's not like I don't even know performance being bad. I just remember being really long and really drawn out, and none of the scares really landing. And then there was a big mechanical spider thing, puppet spiders thing at the end.
Yeah, that movie had some technical limitations.
Yeah. One of them being TV budget and really flat cinematography. Which this is not an issue that this movie has. Budget isn't an issue, cinematography isn't an issue, acting isn't an issue. Oh my god, this movie is good. This was like a thrill ride horror movie.
Yeah, one of the dumb things that I love doing after going to see a horror movie is putting them into broad categories based on the type of horror they are. Like I was saying, when we got out, Insidious was a ghost story. Grave Encounter is a good old-fashioned haunted house. This movie's a fucking nightmare. It is nightmarish in the way it approaches its horror, in the way everything in it is presented and moves. Several of the elements in this film mirror specific nightmares I had as a child.
Yeah, I didn't have that issue, but it was because the opening scene. It's he's making the paper boat and stuff, and
they're playing up he's folding the paper. Isn't this iconic? Don't you remember this scene from the first movie?
Yeah, and he does that. He's doing the thing where he's oh no, and the boat goes down the drain, and they recreate that iconic scene of Tim. Because honestly, when I think people remember the original that's what they remember. Tim Curry in the sewer looking up through that fucking grate.
And that first scene, you get the difference between Bill Skarsgård's version of this and Tim Curry's version of this. Because Tim Curry comes off like the Violator a lot, whose performance I assume was entirely based on Tim Curry's.
Now that you just said it out loud, I'm not going to be able to unmake that comparison.
Tim Curry is creepy. He's doing a freak show thing. He's like an evil carny. He's a clown.
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård is a nightmare clown. Yeah. When he starts fucking... And I was telling you, that scene opens up, and he doesn't blink.
Yeah.
And my sphincter tightened, and it didn't let go for the rest of that movie.
Yeah, fucking Bill Skarsgård's take on Pennywise... Because I felt like this was going to be the thing that everyone was going to criticize the hard. It was kind of like when Heath Ledger got cast as the Joker.
Somebody else doing the role.
Yeah, and it's just Heath Ledger's never going to be as good as Jack Nicholson's Joker. It's well, it's not about being as good. It's being a different kind of good.
And I really thought this movie was going to lean out of Pennywise for that reason. That they were going to go more... Because the trailers for this movie blew.
They sucked so far. I thought this was going to be just, it's another jump scare, boo, gotcha, fucking shitty horror movie.
I thought this was going to be trash. I really thought they were going to just have Pennywise be in the background and be sort of atmospheric and just be like a silent monster. No, man, they put all that on Bill Skarsgård and he fucking carried it.
Yeah. Yeah, he is the reason you go see this movie. His performance, his delivery, and just how he's framed. The director really knew how to capture an image to make Pennywise just unsettling. And the trailer's blue, but there were a few good bits of the trailer. When you see the slideshow thing, it's and it's just the hair flowing out of the way, and it's fucking Pennywise. And like that's cool. But then you have then you had other things like the kid like you'll flow too, you'll flow too, you'll flow too.
And it's like a lot of what the way they cut a lot of that shit in the trailer is the problem.
Yeah,
because like when it happens in the movie, it's so much of this is just done middle frame, well lit, right in the center.
yeah, and okay, like that scene I was just criticizing a moment ago in the trailer, which is you'll flow too, and it's a very different scene than how the trailer portrays it, because you get him following his brother, him coming down, him seeing his brother, and you've already had like enough eerie shit like that scared you enough in this movie that for me I'm just like, oh, where's this gonna go? And then so that you'll flow too, you'll flow too, you'll flow too. And then his voice starts decaying and eroding as his face starts to decay, and then you see Pennywise come up out of the water, and you see that he's puppeteering this corpse child, and then drops the child and then does the rhyme.
They do this a lot with the scares. They do the opposite of a jump scare. There is a whole lot of lead in. They let you know it's coming.
Yeah.
And this really plays into the main theme, because Stephen King's metaphoring is not subtle. Mm-hmm. And I've always appreciated that about his books. He just doesn't even try. A lot of the main themes in this book is about the hopelessness of being a child in an authority figure system that isn't working. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't really lean into it as much in this movie, heavily in the first one. I never read the book, neither did Zeon. Is that one of the main things is that everyone in the town doesn't care. And that's something it is doing to them. Mm-hmm. This is his town, and he's making people not care. So it's this very, like, we're kids, and then we're, it's the coming of age story, and they're getting a sense of their own personalities and their own identities in a system that they are starting to understand has abandoned them.
Yeah.
And a lot of these themes have to do with disempowerment.
Yeah, that is a big thing, because from Pennywise to the adults to everyone, like from the bullies, everyone is just stripping power away from these children.
And in the same way the story's doing to the characters, the scares are doing it to you, because the movie goes, it's going to happen now. And there's nothing you could do about it. Like and it just keeps getting worse.
Oh my god. And like some of the scares I feel like I feel like they crank it up a little too much, but then like in hindsight I'm just like, but I didn't see that because because I criticized this originally when we saw the movie, like the slideshow was and then it burns out and the thing already goes black, and then it's like, oh, like that's the end of the thing. It's just like, and I was expecting like the let it sink in like ugh moment, but instead Pennywise, just giant kaiju fucking Pennywise.
Yeah, I remember you were like, oh, maybe that was a little too. I'm like, that was the highlight of the fucking movie.
Yeah, no, because like now that I think about it, like I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
No, like that is taking like the eerie. Oh, that was really unsettling, and now welcome to the horror movie. It's a monster movie moment, and
because like the first It and the first Pennywise are creepy. They're unsettling. This Pennywise is scary.
Yeah.
Like just Tim Curry is he's like, they approach Scary Clown from two different angles, like from two different directions. Tim Curry seems like a dude that is a clown, and there's something wrong with him, and then you realize Bill Skarsgård is something wrong that looks like a dude dressed as a clown.
Yeah, because there's something very inhuman about him, and it's a lot about like in his movements, the way, like as you mentioned, he doesn't blink, and there was something I never picked up on him not blinking, but I was always fixed on his eyes because they creeped me out, and I didn't understand why.
They glow, they're always a little off center, and while you're watching them, something else is always happening on screen.
Yeah, there's always something going on with him, and like just he sells you on his version of it. Just the stare, the awkward drool, the way he speaks, the rhythm.
He's a beast is what he is.
Yeah, he comes off as something inhuman, where, like, once again, Tim Curry, he comes off as this creepy guy in a clown thing. Skarsgård comes off as something unworldly in the guise of a clown, and Jesus Christ. And then there's just little things like the television is still one of my favorite things, where like the television just playing in the background. Come on down to the sewer, kids. It's fun. Be like a clown. Clowns are in the sewers, and they're really fun. You'll float in the sewer. And like the first time they do it, it's just in the background. I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah. There's so much good shit in this, and we're just talking about the scares and stuff. We're good.
Yeah, the rest of the movie's still like good, completely apart from that.
Yeah, like
the kids are good to a man.
Jesus Christ, because I feel like people shit on child performances so often, and a lot of
bad child performances.
I'm way more forgiving of that because I'm like, no, this is how kids talk. Mm-hmm. Here, I am seeing kids that feel, because I think it's also the way they're written. Mm-hmm. Because these kids, they swear, they talk shit. That was me at 12 years old.
Yeah, if Sandlot had taken a left turn, it would have ended up here.
Yeah, because it is very much that kids gathering together, going on. It's the Stand By Me, the Sandlot, the fucking the Goonies, but it's a fucking unsettling horror film. But in between all of that, you're having all these fun kid adventures, and you're seeing these characters grow and become friends, and they like each other, and it's just it's great stuff. And all of these kids are great, and Billy as the main character, the kind of focal point, his whole thing about wanting to protect his brother and to fight the clown and to take on it, that's great. Bev, Richie, I think what was the kid? Mike, I think was another one. Mm-hmm. Ben, and the mere fact that I even remember these kids' names, mm-hmm. because that is a because I always. Whenever I watch a movie, it's just I'll remember the main character's name, maybe one or two supporting characters, and then then I just start breaking them down into their archetypes. Mm-hmm. It's the fat one, the dumb bitch, the cool guy. Here it's just no, I remember all these characters because all these characters stood out so strongly to me. Richie is the best goddamn thing ever. I'm like, oh my god, that's me as a 12-year-old. I love this kid. This is great. All these characters were so damn good, so damn likable, and they give you enough time with each character to really get a feel for them. The only one I feel that we don't get a feel for is Richie, because Richie is the joke guy. He's constantly being a smartass, and I kind of wish maybe they had conflated his character into one of the others. But
his whole deal.
Yeah, but because it's just he even brings up how, he didn't have spooky shit happening to him. He's just does this shit only affect virgins? Is this why I'm not seeing it? And then, the spooky shit starts happening to him, mostly because he's getting himself actively involved. Mm-hmm. And, oh my god, it's good stuff. The bullies, I feel, are a little too...
Stephen King?
Yeah, because Stephen King, from what I understand about Stephen King, he writes bullies like the extreme archetype that people kind of criticize shitty bully portrayals in movies. And, yeah, these hyper kind of realized extreme versions of, the 80s, generic bully archetypes.
I really don't know what high school was like in Bangor, Maine. But shit, man, that is not how it went down in my school.
Yeah, no, I was the victim of bullying a shit ton. I was the kid. Everyone knew me, because, everyone, there's, the kids that know as the popular ones, and then, the middling kids that nobody really knows. And then there was me, who everyone knew as that kid who was fucking picked on.
Well, yeah, you're a Dragon Ball YouTuber.
I wasn't back then.
They could smell it.
I was that fucking kid who played Pokemon and just wanted to be left alone. They didn't have to slap my Game Boy out of my hand. But yeah. Yeah, but that's what bullying was. It's a lot of more hands-off shit. So when this guy's carving his name into fucking Ben, I'm like, what the fuck, Henry? Jesus Christ!
Like, the whole movie after that, the heavyset bully henchman just kept going, this guy's fucking psycho.
Yeah, no, and there's a few things that kind of make me let these things slide a bit, because like when that shit starts happening in the movie, I'm just like, God damn, these characters are just like they're like the one crippling element of this film, because they're just caricatures of bullies, but then we start getting a little bit of context, like, you know, the his father, and just him just completely just stripping him. Once again, it's that whole stripping of power thing. Just reminding him of his place, and that he is shit, and that he has no power. Mm-hmm. And Pennywise getting into his head, so you have to like wonder. It's just like, is Pennywise kind of this character that, because Pennywise doesn't use him for food, Pennywise uses him as a weapon. Mm-hmm. And Pennywise kind of starts viewing these kids as a threat when Pennywise is like, oh, these kids realize what I'm doing and they're coming after me.
And that part of the story is it's why I didn't actually notice that they had moved the timeline of this movie up to where the kids are in like I saw the title, you know, the 80s. It didn't click with me that was different until I got out of the movie. I'm like, wait, I didn't change shit.
Yeah,
and I think it's going to be fascinating when they do the second chapter with the adults in the modern thing, because with the theming of this movie being that there's another movie called The Dangerous Lives of Altar Boys, mm-hmm. in which the two main characters are walking home along a highway, and they find a dead dog. Dead or dying, I don't remember. And one of the boys he picks it up and he starts carrying it. His friend's like, what the hell, man? And the kid, he starts fucking breaking down and crying, and he says, nobody's coming for this dog. Just like nobody's coming for us. And it's... Between the original setting of the 50s and the 80s, it was still, you know, how people complain today about how, you know, kids don't go out anymore, they don't go play on their bikes in the neighborhood like they used to. Well, the flips, because they're like, oh, that, you know, because the neighborhoods were all safe and everybody hung out together and they went on adventures, you know. The flip side to that is sometimes those neighborhoods get a little Lord of the Flies, which is where the hyper-expression of the bully comes in. And it's the same thing with Pennywise. It's with the theming of the stripping of power. It's a larger societal message about the disappearing middle class and the disenfranchisement of certain minority groups. It's, you know, when the kids keep talking about the only way we win is if we do it together. Because if he divides us, he eats us. Yeah.
Well, apparently the camera fucking stopped and we had this... we lost some fucking recording there. Thanks, camera. So, yeah. What I was trying to say before I was so rudely interrupted was... my one big criticism of this film is the... Pennywise not having a set... Like a specific rule set to him. That he gets to do whatever the fuck he wants, but then he also feels arbitrarily limited. You know, like, you know, he can, like, just rip off Georgie's arm and pull him into the sewer, or he just shows up in Bev's house and, like, you know, kidnaps her with no problem. But then, you know, there's this random shit, like, you know, chasing after Billy in the stairs in the basement, but then he just stops. Or just any of the other things, like, you know, because sometimes it's like, oh, like, an adult shows up, and maybe that's why Pennywise fucks off or whatever. But then other times it's just, you know, like when Billy's just by himself. It's like, eat them. Fucking eat these kids.
What was Billy doing when he was in the basement that time?
He was looking for Georgie. It was the You'll Float 2 scene.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to remember, like, that was his basement, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like because he was in one room and then he saw, like, Georgie run down a hall, and then he's just like, huh?
Oh, yeah, it was like the middle of the night, and
yeah, like Pennywise had lured him down there.
Well, yeah, he ran out of the basement. Monsters can't get you if you get out of the basement in time.
Yeah, because I know you have like this weird, like, it's nightmare logic.
That's the kind of shit I'm talking about.
Yeah, and just
he got to Bev because Bev didn't have an authority and guardian figure anymore. She pranked him with the top of a toilet.
Which, man, her father is the most unsettling shit. Just, you know, are you my little girl? Yes, Daddy.
I'll be your Huckleberry. We basically had a 10-minute discussion where Jay would have appreciated a more consistent narrative regarding what Pennywise is able to and trying to do. And I keep making whimsical art school arguments about he's not a vampire, you don't get a checklist.
Yeah, basically that is the issue. It is you know, like what he wants is like no, like he's some sort of weird cosmic bullshit, so he gets to just do whatever. He's not a, but like I feel like if you don't have like any kind of grounding, then it kind of fucks up the tension, because then like in the back of my mind I'm always like, well, we've seen you do this, why can't, because like even with like, you know, like ghost movies and shit, there's the build up, there's always that kind of unspoken rule where it's like, you know, it needs to build up its power, like, you know, like the poltergeist thing, it needs to, like, it starts off small, and the more that you fear it, the more it has, the more strength it has, and the way it builds up, and then the more it can do to fuck with you and harm you.
I think a lot of that is a lot of ghost story movies are puzzles, and a lot of monster movies are action adventure movies. They're battle stories.
Yeah.
The whole point here is that you don't get a rule set because you're not in charge. Pennywise is. So that kind of, and it's part of what makes a child's life chaotic, is they don't make the rules. So they just change on a whim. It's what's so terrifying for them.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, like just narratively, that takes me out of it.
There's also, he's just fucking with them.
I mean, there is a lot of that. Because, I mean, like, you know, we've seen him turn into giant kaiju clown. Like, I mean, he clearly could do a lot more than he does. But yeah, that aside, like, this movie is really goddamn good.
Yeah.
I was watching like the Half in the Bag review, and they kept saying that like one thing they kept going back to as a criticism was the loud noises. Like, yeah, because it was always like yeah, it would play like a really loud noise like whenever like there was this to accompany the scare, and like yeah, it's like, well, that's not scary, that's startling. But like I feel like that I don't agree with that argument, because what's still on the screen is scary.
Yeah, and the loud noise at the climax is like we were describing the scares before. They don't jump out of a closet like a fucking cat. The noise is there because it's part of, you can't get out of this yet, not till I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think that criticism really holds water, because I feel like the loud noise it isn't a compensation for a scare. It is emphasis on the scare. Because what you're still seeing is scary. Without that sound, it's still scary, but that noise rattles you to the core along with the visuals. It is audio complementing visuals, not just audio supplement, or just, you know, like replacing, you know, an actual scare. Because so many horror films, because I feel like, you know, people criticize the jump scare too much. And the jump scare, yeah, jump scares are shit, but like I feel like we need to kind of redefine what the jump scare is, because like a lot of people will just say like anything that's a loud noise that goes boom is a scare, is a jump scare. But Pennywise in this movie, like you said, you know, he locks you into the situation, and it builds on it, and like the noise and the music and the ambiance, like all of that stuff ratchet up that horror.
Yeah, a jump scare it's like a pun. It's a tool. It's a simple tool.
Yeah,
and you have to use it effectively.
Because I feel, oh fuck, I'm blanking on his name. James Wan. He is the master of the jump scare, because he uses it effectively.
It never feels cheap.
Yeah, because he kind of sinks you into this unsettling moment, and then hits you with a jump scare.
And he does a lot of what you see in this movie. Like Insidious played to this very well, where Insidious just puts something on screen just a little longer than it's supposed to.
Yeah, because like Insidious always... Because, I mean, Insidious always had great fucking scares in that movie, because you always have the, like that one, like, I'll never forget, that kid just standing in the corner as, like, she's, like, taking out the trash or whatever, and he's just in the corner, and the camera doesn't focus on him, the camera just pans with the girl. You don't even focus on the kid, so it's easy to miss him, but you're just kind of like, was that? And then, uh-oh. And...
This movie does a lot of what I love in Stephen King's horror. where the thing itself isn't what's scary. It's what's wrong with it and its context.
Yeah.
Because headless kid with a basket full of Easter eggs. As a concept, pretty spook house.
Yeah.
The way it's presented in a sunlit stairwell in the basement of a library is horrifying. And the way it moves is broken and wrong.
Yeah, because you see it. It's burned. It's disheveled. It's just... And, it's headless and it's fuming. And, yeah, and that is the thing. Like you brought, like, the well-lit stairwell of a library. This it's not the creepy cellar. It's not, oh no, the dark alley. It's not the dark anywhere. It is the well-lit stairwell of a library that is populated with people, but they're just too far away.
And then they get to the haunted house. And it is like you went to Walmart and said, "Where are your haunted houses, please?" And you picked one up off the rack. There's old couches, there are cobwebs, and...
Oh, yeah. But then, so, I love when they first enter the fucking haunted house, and the first thing they see is Richie's missing poster. And he just loses his head. This is this thing! This is me! That's a fucking picture of me! Oh my god, I'm going to fucking go missing like everybody else, you piece of shit!
And that whole part of the movie, it's so stock haunted house. It's... Some of it was almost funny. For a lot of it.
You have a different idea of comedy than I do.
Like Richie in the clown room, a lot of the beats, it was so overdone. It was Pennywise having fun. Mm-hmm. And the climax of that was back down in the living room with the sunlight coming in through the windows, and it was kind of open and everybody was there. And the camera shots were all very just straight on Pennywise, and it wasn't atmospheric anymore. It wasn't a haunted house thing. It was they're in a room with a monster, and the kids are fucking it up.
Yeah. Oh man. So
like even the last room in the sewer where the climax takes place.
Yeah.
Right up there is some of the most unsettling, atmospheric, one of the best shots I've seen in a movie in a long time. Mm-hmm. But the whole last part of that movie is the camera a little up, down on Pennywise while these kids kick the shit out of him. Because that is not what we're here for anymore.
Yeah.
That's not what we're doing.
Oh my god, man. When fucking Pennywise, like, I think it was like Bev who like stumbles upon goes into like the thing, and Pennywise is like dancing. Oh my god! Because that fucking sequence, because the thing that makes that so unsettling is that Pennywise's face is center of frame. His body moving wildly as he jigs back and forth, but his face is always center of frame, never moving. Oh. Because it was making me think of, what was it? Another thing that was kind of creepily unsettling. That fucking demon that shows up in Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 1. That fucking demon that they summon. Mm-hmm. And, like parts of his body are, like, shifting, like, out of phase, but the rest of him isn't. And it is just this thing that is just kind of unworldly. Mm-hmm. And that is the thing. It is unworldly. It is not part of this reality.
Yeah.
It is outside of our scope of, like, understanding. And he just exists separately.
Mm-hmm.
And
like the way to his face, that mound in the last scene, that stage he's on, it's actual human things created by someone who's never seen them based on rough description.
Oh god. And fucking when Pennywise's mouth opens up and the lights inside of his eyes and just, or inside of his mouth, it's just whew.
Oh my god, I love
this is good horror.
I love that they didn't leave out, like when he pops Georgie with the air piston gun.
Yeah.
But later on, Pennywise is on top of him, he cocks the thing again, and Mike's like, it's not loaded. But he pulls the trigger at him because hitting him with a piston isn't what fucks up Pennywise.
It's being brave against Pennywise.
Mm-hmm. It's making the decision to attack him.
Yeah. And that was great, because They don't say that. They let the visuals tell you that. Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling that there's going to be so many people that are going to watch that and go, that was fucking retarded. He just didn't shoot him at all, and it still fucked him up. What happened? It's like, you're not getting the idea. It's the idea of
It's called theming,
fear.
you fuck.
It is fear and conquering fear and standing up against it.
Because Pennywise is immortal, and he's invulnerable, and he has been around since the beginning of time, and the only way you can actually beat him is by deciding to fight him anyway.
Yeah, because it's going back to what you were saying about empowerment. When you stand up against Pennywise, you're dispowering him.
It's fucking Rage Against the Machine. We're gonna take the power back.
Yeah, it was so fucking good. And I do love the fact that, like, just being, like, just, you know, confronting Pennywise isn't quite enough. Because you have, when they, like, you know, not scary at all, fucking severed girl, shit. No, we didn't do this. It's all in our fucking heads, and they open the door and they come through, and he's just like, am I not real enough for you, Billy? It's just like, Jesus Christ. And, like, he's still on the attack, and he can still harm them. But it's when they start fighting back against him is when he's just like, nope, fuck this, and he fucks off into his well.
And then, like at the end, he's got Billy, and he starts making deals because it's part of the speaking truth to power narrative. He tells him, like, just leave me this kid, give up, go away, and you don't have to fight anymore. You can just go back to normal.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's like you can live old, happy lives. Just, like, and that is like the thing of, like, you know, he has run out of options. And I love that thing of just, he is running scared. You know, they are in his domain, and he's still trying to do his scary shit. And, you know, Stan being the pussy that he is, it works. But everyone else, like, you know, when they all start standing against him, like fucking Billy, when he's just, like, you know, trying to get into his head with Georgie, he just shoots Georgie in the fucking head. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you're not Georgie. And then he cocks it again, like, because I feel like the first one is, oh, like, you know, that's not falling for the illusion. When he dry fires on fucking Pennywise, that is him taking a stand against Pennywise. Mm-hmm. And that is taking the power away from him. And that is when he is scared. That is when he is just, yeah, because it is just, let's beat the shit out of the monster, and then the monster just going away, and just, and, you know, you didn't kill the cosmic horror. You can't kill it. But, you know, you made it go away for a while. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be great when the sequel rolls around, and
oh god, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, because everyone always says that the adult part of the book is the most boring part, and everyone always says that, like, even with the TV movie, it's just like, you know, the part with the kids holds up fairly well, but yeah, the adult stuff sucks. And, like, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with this movie, with these adult characters, because I really want to see them build on it. And, like, how do you make Pennywise a threat to these kids all these years later?
Like I said, I never read the book, but the way I picked up on it in the first movie, because I actually like the second half, is that they're all like, oh my god, it's back. We all have to go back to Derry, and most of them can't even barely remember it. They've all forgotten that it happened. Because it's just part of Derry. And then so they're all having to go back, and they're like, well, how do we... Because it's that something, that Ray Bradbury asked, something wicked this way comes shit, where they're not kids anymore. The kind of things they did to resist and to fight Pennywise were the things that children do. They were the kind of decisions, the kind of child logic that lives in the nightmare. And Pennywise's whole shtick, when he's fucking with them for coming back there, he's, you're not kids anymore, guys. This is not your game. You are too old for this.
Yeah. So, looking forward to that sequel. Mm-hmm. That can't come quick enough for me. Because this is like one of the few times where I'm like, yeah, horror sequel, awesome. You know, because I wanted a sequel to Insidious, but that's more just because, like, I had faith in the director. Here, I don't know jack shit about this director, but he's got my seal of approval. let's see what this guy can do in the future, because I want to see him do more cool, interesting shit. I mean, if this is what he's going to bring to the table, I want to see him do a bit more atmospheric horror, because it looks like he's really good at that, like that kind of cerebral horror, and that kind of, because this is very nightmarish stuff, but, less boo gotcha stuff, and more, like, just kind of really dig into you, like, sticks with you way later, because, like, It Follows is one of those, like, it didn't spook me. That movie stayed with me. That was just, ugh. And there was some of that here, but yeah, like, this was more of a spook fest. It is genuinely spooky and scary. It's good shit. Yeah. And, like, it is...
It's like a funhouse where you die. Which I think is a different Stephen King book.
I think that was a Goosebump book.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, except nobody dies in a Goosebumps book.
Yeah, usually they turn into like an egg monster or some weird shit. Yeah. But yeah, no, this movie, it was great. I think it needed more underage gangbang.
I really thought this was going to be the one internet video where we didn't extraneously and pointlessly bring up the train that got run on Beverly Marsh. There's still time, man. We don't have to talk about it. It's not a part of the movie.
No.
Neither of us have read the book.
Oh, no. I have nothing to say about that other than the one joke that it's not in the movie and that it's in the book. I don't have context for it other than that's a thing that's in the book.
Look, that scene was in South Galaxy and it's gone now, okay?
See, Broly ruins everything.